obviously glad to be here, but I get a chance to talk about, we signed 4 guys right now at linebacker. Obviously, we had 2 seniors, and going into the recruiting season, we thought, you know, we might be taking 2 guys, but we had the opportunity to be on 4 great players, guys that we didn't think we could pass up. With that opportunity, we decided that, you know, for the team and everything, obviously with the opportunities we've had in the past year, we could take 4 guys as long as they were the right guys. I think that's the thing, as you'll see as we start to talk about these guys, the versatility in all of them. Guys that can rush the passer, guys that have played linebacker, guys that might not have played linebacker much, but have the intangible things that we're looking for. So the first one here is Juan Price, a kid from Woodland Hills High School in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's a kid really that played mostly on the ball through his high school career, a pass rush kind of guy, but has been moved around a little bit. Not a huge, oversized, tall guy, but a guy that's very powerful. Like I said, been on the ball, more of a pass rush guy. I think a little bit more his senior year, he finally played off the football a little bit, but did some things obviously offensively and defensively. Didn't come off the field for him. Was a tight end in a system where they obviously didn't have a fullback, but will be a guy that can do a lot of different things, versatility-wise. The thing about, like I said, most all these guys, and we talk about it in general, and even in recruiting with the kids, is there's no substitute for intelligence. And I think as we talk about a lot of these guys, I can't really put a finger on where we think they might play, because we got guys that we think can fit the system. And that's kind of what we try and do with them when they come in, is teach them the system, and then try and find out where they would fit best and how they can get on the field. Connor Caldwell is a linebacker kid from Southern Maryland, North Point High School. And as a kid, it's a young kid, just turned 17 halfway through his senior year, so it's a real young kid. Broke his leg his last game of his senior year. They had 1 loss, were in the first round of the playoffs. I think in the first quarter was carrying the football and had a pretty bad break to his leg. Obviously the team ended up losing. He kind of was, you know, obviously one of their best players, guy that ran the football, guy that controlled their defense for him, was a middle linebacker. But as a good young kid, is going through, obviously battling some rehab right now, but has got a pretty good bloodline. His sister, I think, played softball at Virginia Tech, is a college softball coach at Oklahoma State, but a very athletic family. Both parents are from Hawaii, so he's probably one of our first Hawaiians. He asked when he was on his visit here how many Hawaiians we had in the university. I couldn't really answer it, but next one is Ryan Shazier. Ryan has obviously joined us in January. One of those guys that, like Coach Tress always says, is they come from South Florida or Naples or wherever they came from down in Florida to join us in January. I'm not sure what they were really getting themselves into. My first meeting with him, obviously you'll meet him here, my first meeting, he came in the office and he had like a blister or a scab on the bottom of his nose. I said, I don't think he'd ever wiped his nose so many times in the last 16 years of his life. So I think he's adjusting a little bit here to some of the weather. But Ryan's a kid that obviously I've known about for quite a while. Great young man. Played most of his high school career with his hand on the ground. Is more of a pass rush guy. Is just more learning, even in the All-Star games that he played in, learning to play a little bit more of a stand-up position. But again, Ryan's a kid that's got great versatility for us. Great motor. Saw that obviously being able to go down to Florida and watch him practice football in the spring. But a great young man. Obviously he's here in January and learning a lot. Already been around all the guys and has done a great job at trying to pick up some of the things we've done. In just a couple weeks he played in the All-Star games down there in Florida. I think he learned a lot just playing with his hand off the ground and some of the different things as far as a linebacker. The last guy is Curtis Grant, a kid that from Richmond, Virginia, Hermitage High School. Is a kid that obviously from an area that we haven't had a whole bunch of kids. But as a kid that we kind of got on, Coach Bowman got on early and just showed us a little bit of interest and kind of just built over time. Curtis is a unique kid. He is a big physical kid. I actually had the opportunity to go down and watch him in the state semifinal game. Was very impressed with him as a person, as a leader, as a motivator, and it was pretty big obviously for us to get him today. But he was that kind of kid that really just kind of fit the system. A very intelligent kid that understands football. Down to earth, really, you know, obviously loves the team, the family atmosphere, and I think that's what, when he came up here to Ohio State, he kind of fell in love with. He fell in love with these guys, these kids, as he met them just for a day or two, but he's a guy with great charisma, walks in the room, you know, is a guy that kind of takes over the room and does a great job. But it is a unique guy, and like I said, sometimes it's toughest to be that first guy to come from an area that we haven't notoriously had a whole bunch of guys from. But hopefully he can kind of be that guy to break off and start us with you know, drawing some guys from maybe that area, from the beach area, from that Richmond area. Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, Luke, talk about your
reaction. Imagine that. Hold on a second. Anybody else? I know this is going to be short. Go ahead, Tim.
Just talk about your reaction when you got the word from Curtis today. You know, it's kind of like the cherry on top of the
No, it is. It's exciting, and we always talk about it. Is, you know, we don't want to overplay the stuff in recruiting. The thing about it that I like about Curtis, obviously, he's a great football player. Obviously, he got his team to the state championship games the first time in school history. But just the intangible things, the leadership, the type of things that I saw from him, actually having the ability to go watch him play in the state semifinals. You know, it's big, and I think that, you know, whatever the rankings are, this, that, and the other thing, I think the special thing about getting him is you're getting a special person. I think a guy that's got some, you know, got some true leadership ability to walk away from, you know, some of the areas where he is normally, some of the guys from his high school and some of the guys from that area that have gone to different places to do something new and different, I think shows what kind of person he is.
Luke, you brought two guys to play linebacker. What prompted you to do that? What did you see in those guys?
It's just like, I mean, we take the best fit players, the athletes, the guys that play the game the way we like to see it play. We take quarterbacks and think that they can play corner. We take wideouts and think that they can play corner. We take tailbacks and think that they can play a defensive spot because they're the right person. And they got the right athletic ability. They got the right mentality. And well, I mean, again, there's those same things. The passion for the game, I think, is something that the luxury about going down and watching Ryan and some of those guys in the South is when you can watch spring football, just like I talked about with Curtis. You got the ability to go watch him play in the state semifinals. You can see some different things that you don't see from just a highlight video or just watching game film. To have the ability to go down there and see how they truly practice, to see what kind of passion they play with, to see what kind of effort that they play with going into their senior year when they're already a highly recruited, highly touted person, and they're in their second day of, you know, spring football down in Florida. It was pretty impressive just to see Ryan chase a guy 40 yards down the field when half the other team might be walking behind him. So I think those are the things that when you have those opportunities to be able to take advantage of some of those situations where, you know, in the South where you can go and watch them do those things, or if you do get the opportunity to see them play, you know, in a state championship or even in one of those days and you can go out and watch a true game, I think you can get a different feel for people.
Luke, landing for top linebacker prospects that are all from out of state, do you take some extra pride in that? I mean, not that it's easy to recruit kids from Ohio, you can't see it's tough to recruit kids from out of state.
I mean, you know, again, we fit the system. I think we took the best kids that we could get our hands on. The guys that fit the system the most. I mean, yeah, it might be a little bit more work at sometimes, but you know, outside of the 250-mile race, I mean, those guys are, you know, still considered the Pittsburgh, hopefully to be a little bit more of a local area. But you know, again, I think the thing is they saw an opportunity here. They saw an opportunity with the type of team, the type of leadership we have with Coach Tress, but also the opportunity. Don't think that two seniors leaving that have played for a lot of time doesn't give them a little bit of sparkle in their eye, and that's, you know, as a 17, 18-year-old, you see that opportunity as opposed to if you had somebody who, you know, was just a sophomore at James Ordonez who's going into his junior year with an All-American. Oh, you don't want to go there, you're going to play behind him. So I think there's a combination of everything, but I think the biggest thing for us is, especially those out-of-state guys, if we can get them here onto campus, get them around our guys, let them see what this place is really about, we got a good opportunity to get them.
Juan had a lot of pressure to stay at home, stay in the league. We talked about what it was like handling a kid as he's so wants to stay home.
It's unique. I mean, you got to give them some space and some opportunities. You know, sometimes you just got to talk with the people that are close to them. But you got to honestly have to let the people be conscious of what they're going through. And every kid's got a different situation. And obviously, with Juan, I don't want to get into, you know, some of the things, but there's a kid who, you know, who struggled with it a bit, but knew this is where he wanted to be. Knew in his heart. It took him maybe a little bit more time in the morning because, just like all of us, I try to explain to him sometimes when you're getting ready to make a big decision, that last few hours or last few minutes, sometimes you get some cold feet, and you just need a few things to reassure you, and I think that's all it really was for him. I don't think he'll have any ill effect by it. I think that, you know, he got to where he is because he's been a competitor and he's worked at it, and things have not come real easy for him. So I think he'll be used to what he's going to have to do when he gets here.